whatever he thinks he might be doing in terms of style or approach, it's not resulting in lower tariffs. Other countries have seen their exports going up. Mexico has actually increased the amount that it exports into the United States. Clearly, Mark Carney is not doing the types of things that other countries are doing to get a better deal. And the other thing that's quite bizarre about the liberal spin on this is that they simultaneously blame U.S. tariffs for all the woes that are facing the Canadian economy. They accept no responsibility for the fact that they're keeping the industrial carbon tax, that they're keeping the production cap, that they're keeping a lot of the tax hikes that Justin Trudeau imposed upon Canadians. They're blaming all of that on U.S. tariffs. And then when we point out that they haven't gotten a deal on U.S. tariffs, they say, well, Canada has the best deal in the world and a lot of Canadian goods aren't even affected by these tariffs. So which is it?
Both of those things can be true. You can have a better deal than most countries with the United States and still a worse deal than you had at the beginning of the year and than you had on Election Day, because it is those key sectors that are getting hammered by the Section 232 tariffs of steel, aluminum, there's lumber, there's copper,
that doesn't explain why
auto.
Countries like Mexico have actually seen an increase in their exports, and it also isn't what Mark Carney promised. And you're right. Both things can be true. It can absolutely be the case that Mark Carney's failure to get a deal is a big part of the hardship facing Canadians or the suffering the Canadians are going through. And also true that keeping the production cap, keeping those Trudeau tax hikes, and keeping the industrial carbon tax are also killing jobs. So you're right. Both of Carney's failures can be attributed to the hardship.
That's not quite what I was saying, but I take your point. But look, Mexico, the structure of their trade with the U.S. is different than the structure of Canadian trade with the U.S. It's a lot of low-cost goods going in. So, I'd have to dig into the numbers to see why it is different. But they're both kind of in the same starting point that this. Well, no. Well,
you have to dig into the numbers to defend the Liberal failures on this.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what the audience at home is hearing me say. I don't know the numbers on Mexican
Mark Carney
trade.
came on all kinds of CBC shows where he was talking about the fact that he was a master negotiator. He's going to get a win for Canadian. He's the guy you hire in a crisis. Elbows up all the time, he said. Here we are in October. 86,000 Canadians are wondering how they're going to pay their mortgage because they've lost their jobs. He hasn't got a deal on U.S. tariffs. He hasn't repealed the Liberal legislation that imposes all kinds of costs on Canadian manufacturers and Canadian job creators. I mean, the industrial carbon tax is a massive cost to do business here in Canada. Mark Carney has said he's going to keep it. The production cap chases away billions of dollars of investment. TC Energy announced $8.5 billion of new investments in the energy sector in the U.S. It's not just Mark Carney who's going to the U.S. It's investment dollars flowing from Canada into the United States. On all these fronts, Mark Carney we're worse off today under Mark Carney than we were before he was elected.
Right.